everyone, and here I am for Fed again, and today I have the lovely Moira Mona. So hi Moira, how are you?
Hi, I am tired, but I'm still doing fine.
Awesome. If you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself, where you're from, and what is it that you do?
Well, I'm a femdom and findom from the Netherlands. So it's also called, I'm Dutch, and some people think that's German, but that's not the same thing. Please don't talk German to me. Stop doing that. Uh, it happens so much. I'm also really busy with sex worker rights activism. I write articles, sometimes about politics, because that's hot, right?
Sex and politics together is like a
Yes,
wonderful blend, I think.
hot and sexy politics. Yes, I can do that. No, but it is, yeah, so I have a lot of weird fascinations with politics, but also with biology. I used to study biology. Um, and well, yeah, and I started doing sex work.
Mhm.
And then I just got thrown into the weird life of fetish and BDSM and activism and writing and doing creative stuff. And I also make music, which I also like. And I have 4 cats and 2 turtles.
I love that. I love that. That's awesome. The reason why I wanted to speak to you today is because you're amazingly vocal about the needs to actually protect sex worker rights. And you do that while others stay silent. So, what makes you so passionate to speak out?
Well, I am very privileged. Like, as you can see, I almost glow in the dark. Uh, and I am a cis woman, and I can act like I have a higher education. So it's important to me, but also to me, for me, it's already difficult being a sex worker. So imagine if you don't have all the other privileges on top of that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and that's when I noticed that stuff is so messed up.
Mm.
And I just feel like I have to also because a lot of people can't. And well, I'm pretty out about being a sex worker. So yeah, I don't have much to lose. So I'm using that for the good cause, I guess, because not everybody is speaking up
Mhm.
because they simply just can't.
I think that's really important points that you raised there. I think a lot of people don't realize sometimes the privileges that they do have because they can present themselves in lots of different ways. I think all of us generally do have a responsibility. If we have nowadays a Twitter following and we know that people follow us, we do have a responsibility. Like when I first started, I didn't actually connect the dots. I was like, oh, I'm just practicing fetishes and I'm just here to enjoy myself and connect with some submissives. But the longer you do things and the more you expose yourself to other people, you realize it's not just about you. It is actually about all of us as a community and how we can protect each other. So, going back to your sex work and your activism within it, are there any particular movements that you advocate or ones that you can recommend to our readers, our watchers, our listeners?
Well, there are a lot, of course. In the Netherlands, we have different movements. We have sex work expertise. So in Dutch is sekswerk expertise, which is a great platform with people who just really take the time to look into things. There's also Proud. It's our union. It used to be. I'm not sure how active they are anymore, though, but they are pretty awesome. And there's still awesome people working with them. Um, and there's also, let me think. There's just many movements. We have a media platform, Red Insight. So not inside, but inside, like looking into it. And I wrote an article for that about all the political parties that are in the next elections and their stance on sex work. So it was really fun. Uh, So yeah, those are the things for sex workers in the Netherlands that are really cool.
That's fantastic.
But I am not really affiliated.
Sorry, you said, sorry, say that again. Sorry.
Oh, well, I'm not really affiliated with any of these things, although I did this, so I did write for Red Insight. But I really kind of like being independent because I just want to be able to say what's on my mind instead of being instead of representing an organization. I just want to represent myself and the people. So that is important for me. It also makes it easier to say weird shit on the radio.
Yes, you have
live TV.
You have less repercussions, I guess, because you're always representing yourself.
Yes.
In the Netherlands, obviously, it's legal and it's regulated. That means that the workers there are entitled to the same rights and protection as other workers in other professions, which is absolutely fantastic. But
well, you would think that.
Oh, okay. Well, you can tell me about what problems there are.
Yes, because it's regulated and legalized, which just means that you have to jump through hoops to be to do your work legal and licensed. And it kind of, the thing is that they in 2001 they had they kind of let go of it was legal to keep a brothel in from 2001. Before, sex work was never really criminalized, but it was not legal to have a brothel. They did exist though before, but yeah. So 2001 it was legal to have a brothel, but then so that was the country law. The Dutch law was okay, brothels are legal now. Then all the municipalities, they kind of made their own rules that you needed a license for a brothel or a commercial sex work. And what the commercial level was kind of up for debate in most municipalities. And it actually just means even if you're working by yourself and alone, you still need the license. And of course, that is not, the licenses are very expensive and really hard to get by because you need a whole background check and all that shit. And you need the money for the freaking license. And then there will be in the newspaper your name, like your real name.
So they practically dox you.
Yeah, you need to be doxed if you want a license. So what happened is that there are clubs and brothels and BDSM studios that got the license, and most of them are not sex worker owned. So a lot of people just got a license and they didn't care about being doxed because they weren't sex workers themselves. They were rich guys.
So they abuse the system. They abuse the system in that way.
So there are license. And you need to work in a place with a license.
Yeah.
So if you want to work completely by the rules, there are not many places with licenses though. Like escort agencies also need a license, and one of them, because in the middle of the pandemic when we were allowed to work again, I was thinking of doing escort dominatrix stuff as well. Like, I can come to your home and be you. Yeah, sure. So I wanted to do that license. And well, one of the agencies actually told me I'm too fat.
Holy moly.
Me. Like, okay, I know I'm not like the thinnest person on earth, and I also gained some weight because of medication during the summer.
That's not an issue. That's not anything that anyone should ever mention.
But I'm also not, like, I am not fat. Like,
in 2021, for anyone to say that
but even if you are fat, like, what is the problem? Because people like different things,
right?
But yeah, so the thing is with the licenses, I also worked in a massage place where I worked. There was this woman, she had all the experience and she was amazing. And she had experience, even diplomas for the sport massage. So she was perfect and she was bubbly and fun. And I just was looking forward. And she was doing the whole interview, and the owner, she was really being nice and friendly to her. And then she walked out. It was like I'm ever going to let a fat cow like that work here?
That makes me
Oh,
sad.
I was about to shoot the bitch. Oh, damn. Oh, so the license stuff actually is fatphobic, transphobic, racist, classist. Like a lot of escort agencies don't want people who are doing full-time sex work because that's not classy enough. You need to do it next to your studies in your college, you know, like that. That's more respectable.
That's so
Yeah, so
yeah.
you won't get hired if you are over 45. You won't get hired in most places if you are a black woman. They are most of the time actually actively putting even in the ads, like we're only looking for the Dutch girls with blonde hair and stuff. It's
Do
like,
you know
oh
what?
my.
You reminded me of actually the last time I went to Amsterdam. I remember actually, you know, where they obviously how they section the women, and there's the area by the church. Opposite the church, you'll see the either Eastern European women, very skinny, and they put the black women, the bigger black women, out in the daytime. They didn't get any of the lighting or anything. Like, I remember that specifically. The bigger black women, just three of them next to each other, completely in another area, just with no pomp, you know, no presentation, no nothing. And I remember feeling really sad, like, why they put my sisters over there?
Yeah, that is the thing, you know. So yeah, I can get, even for me, it's not easy to get a place to work licensed, but like even with all my privileges, it's not easy to find one. Like there's also this big BDSM studio thing, and I'm not sure if they watch this thing. And the owner is a dick anyway, so. But there is this guy, and he has most BDSM studios in the Netherlands, and I just refuse to rent his shit because the rooms are great. You know, I can rent the rooms; they would be nice. They're close by, and a lot of people do it. But he has the rule that when you are a guy or a gay couple, you cannot rent his rooms.
I don't understand. I don't honestly, any kind of
Does
ism.
he have a camera in there that he's just with two women? That's okay, you know. But also as a guy alone, if you are a gay master or something, you cannot. You need a woman to rent the place. Like you can have a threesome, but you cannot have a gay couple.
It's crazy to me that there are seemingly liberal countries like Netherlands.
Yeah, no, the Netherlands
still think.
Yeah, let's get that out of the way. The Netherlands were just like, okay, we were the first to legalize gay marriage, and from that moment we all thought, okay, we're done now, and that's the Netherlands. We legalized gay marriage, and then it's like, okay, done, and now we're really open-minded and blah blah blah, and well, no. Not how it works. We still have the Black Pete thing going on with the blackface children's party. We have, well, we're one of the, I think we are doing pretty bad during this coronavirus thing.
I guess it's a case of the Netherlands really just thrives more on the tourism aspect of it. We come to the Netherlands because we think it is amazing. There's sex and drugs and it's all free.
The weed thing as well. The weed thing, like it's legal to sell it, but it's not legal to grow it. Like how the fuck is it coming in the stores then?
So they've really just made the system work in the Netherlands by not decrimming, which was obviously what everybody wants. They've just legalized everything and gotten more government control.
Yeah, they just thrive on the control as well, because with the brothel keeping and that kind of stuff. Well, it's really just capitalism, because if you are a rich white dude and you have some houses to spare and you can get the license because your nephew works at a municipality, well, great, you have a brothel, my friend. And yeah, that sucks.
That does suck.
Yeah, like and so not everybody able to work under a license. So a lot of people still work unlicensed, which is not completely illegal, but it's also not recommended to call the cops if anything happens.
And people need to.
And now with the
that's really bad contradiction, because obviously they've given people the rights to work, but they still can't work. So it's a very difficult catch-22 situation when you've got your bills to pay and you try to keep a roof over your head. Where is the line? What exactly can you do to protect yourself? I mean, do people, sex workers in Netherlands, do they feel protected when they go to the police, for example? No.
No. The only reason I in the SM studios that I feel protected is because we are with more women in one studio in a dungeon, and there is this whole room full with potential weapons, and we know how to use them.
Wow.
So that is what makes me feel safe, not the fact that I can maybe call the cops, because no, I started to hate them even more after the demo in The Hague. My God, they were like, there were people harassing the sex workers who were protesting. There were people being harassed, even touched without permission, and the cops were not doing anything. No, well, they were doing something. They were looking angry at me while I was giving interviews. So I was giving an interview to newspapers and TV stuff, and I was being filmed, and I was looking to the side, and I see the cops looking like, this is sorry, but don't you have a job to do, like protect us from the assholes that are grabbing boobs? I don't know. Maybe you could try to do
your job. Directing your feelings to the right place. Why did you get into public service protection if you're not actually going to protect the people who are in trouble or potentially in trouble? In terms of how we look at ourselves as amateur kinksters, as professional dominatrices and sex workers, but the amateur part of it, I think there's a lot that still needs to be understood. We will obviously start off as amateur. Why do you think that amateur kinksters should care about the laws of sex workers? And these go for people who perhaps maybe have an OnlyFans account because they don't realize that they're automatically a sex worker, because then they're going to have to start paying tax. Even though they're posting kinky content, they're a sex worker. Or people like dominatrices or findoms who work online only, they're a sex worker. Why do you think that those people also should care about the laws for sex workers?
Well, I actually think that especially the kinksters should care, but everybody should. Like, we're mostly canaries in a coal mine anyway when it comes to privacy laws and also to censorship. Like, they're first trying everything on the sex workers, and if it's fine, they put it on other marginalized groups, So if they can get away with it with the sex workers, oh well, let's have the disabled people as well, And that's terrible. But also in the Dutch community, for instance, the sex work license is also used a lot to have the play spaces, and play parties and that kind of stuff, to have those regulated as well, and that you need a license to have one of those locations as well. And so now with the corona crisis as well, a lot of the play spaces for BDSM and kinky minded people are disappearing because they cannot pay the rent anymore. But also there was this space, it was a really nice dungeon thing with a bar, and people could have fun. It was near Amsterdam somewhere, and it got closed because the municipality was trying to enforce the sex club license on them as well, but without people getting paid for sex there. But they closed it because of the licensing system. They abused the licensing system to get the kinksters out as well. So yeah, we are like in my article I wrote that one of the most there's like one party who is really into the criminalization thing. They want to criminalize everything. It's also The only diversity of the whole party is in the ties. Like they have all a different kind of tie. It's but they're all white male and they all have a blue jacket. It's really funny. So like I made a screenshot of them and it was like the orange and red, but that was the only color in the pictures. It was terrible. But they want to criminalize everything. But they also said that they didn't really like the privacy laws because like the online privacy stuff, but also we have a law that protects your personal info, so that not everybody can use that, but also not everybody can gather it from anywhere. That's important, right? Like privacy, we need that. Like it's good. And they is saying like, well, those laws are just tricky and annoying to yeah, because now we cannot fight human trafficking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just get rid of the privacy. We don't need privacy, right? Great. Yeah. So that is why other people should care as well, because they are using human trafficking to get into your private life and monitor everything. So that's not nice.
Do you see there being longevity in dungeons? Obviously, we know over the coronavirus pandemic there has been a lot of closures with dungeons all around the world. People unfortunately haven't been able to keep up. As you say, you know, we haven't been subsidized by our governments. Do you think that there is a future? Do you think that we will ever get back to having real-time sessions and the dungeons will be as busy as they were before?
Well, I think we could, but there is a huge but, and not in a good way. The thing is, we if there is a way that sex work gets decriminalized, there might be a way for the dungeons to flourish. Because if you don't need a license anymore to just do sex work thingies, you can buy a house and make a really cool dungeon in your own house, which would be awesome. And you can have a pool in the back. I don't know. Let's have fun. But also you can say like, if you have a business plan and you're with 4 dominatrixes and you're feeling frisky, you buy a house or rent something really cool with the 4 of you and make the best business ever. There would be more business opportunities and people could work more independent. And because the big brothel owners, they are not forced to do more cool stuff, you know. They have their thing, it's working, it's giving them money, and they're fine. And well, we want really cool things. We want to have luxurious, awesome things. Like in Germany, they had this for a while. That women together would just go wild and stuff, you know, and that would be great because, well, you can do your own thing. But now the people who work as a dominatrix and have a license for themselves, there's not enough funds to make something really special. And I think if you go like with 3 people or something all in on something, then you can make
yeah. And I think it's a really good way to build up, you know, like sisterhoods again, you know, from some aspect. I think that's one thing that gets lost is that there are less dungeons. Yeah, there are less and less dungeons. There are less and less connections with women together, you know, creating that unity, that sisterhood. And I think particularly in the UK, there are quite a few dungeons, but I don't think there's enough. And I don't think there's enough unity for us. Yeah, so things like that. There would obviously, as you say, if it was completely decriminalized for all of us around the world, oh my God, the amazing opportunities, the people that you could connect to, the business that you could make, the own little communities you could make as well for the people in your own towns would be amazing. It would be
And
so
all the amazing parties.
yeah.
Oh, we could throw the best parties.
Yeah. It would be
I don't see a reason not to do it.
yeah, it would be amazing. It would be so nice. I think there definitely would be a bit more unity than there is because there's quite a lot of separation at the
I
moment.
think unity is one of the most important things. The hyping of each other is so important.
Especially this here, I don't know if it's the same where you are, but Domination and Dungeons, they all seem to be in our major cities. So, you know, we have London, and where I live near Reading, there's only one dungeon here. So most people come to use that one. And then if you go a bit further up north, but they're very much not really in the smaller towns. And even in the smaller towns, there aren't really. And I think, yeah, as you say, if there was more rights for us, there'd definitely be more connections.
Yeah, we have also the BDSM studios. It's really, they're a dying race. Like everything, like most like brothels and clubs, they have an S&M room, but like fully studio, that is it's rare.
What do you think then that we could all do right now in the BDSM sex work community, no matter what country we're from, to make each other more aware of the laws and how we need to get more involved in actually protecting ourselves?
Yeah, make sisterhoods. Get the chat groups, you know, like we have this also like little chat groups with people that we like sometimes randomly send, like, look what this client said today, you know, even that kind of that unity, that's what we need. So social media, like, I really hope Twitter is not going for a sex worker purge anytime soon, because we need the socials, you know. But also get in contact with other people as soon as possible, and get phone numbers, like and go for coffee and do it. Just have the, even if you feel like everybody's getting sick and tired of you, you know, just be the one who goes like, let's go for coffee. We need this. We need more of this. Yeah.
I think that's a good, interesting and valid and point that I can take myself, is to connect more. What I personally found difficult to connect with other people is because I don't necessarily always want to talk about sex work. I want to talk about regular things and normal things that affect everybody. I found it quite difficult in the community to do that because I feel like people are quite focused on that. However, it really is important for us all to say that there needs to be balance. We need to protect ourselves as sex workers, but we also can't forget to connect with each other as human beings. And that's what gets lost also in it, because if you're so gung-ho with being a sex worker and you lose touch with reality, you lose touch with how you actually connect to the vanilla world and how people actually understand us as being different to what they are. You know, it's to keep the balance in that.
What I do love about connecting with other sex workers, because when all the interviews I do, you know, I have to stay on this surface of the subject, because I keep explaining the same shit every time again, getting sick of it. It's like the most annoying thing ever, and you get never past the surface, you never go deep, you know. And with other sex workers you can go on levels and have conversations that are intriguing and also challenging, and also like, what are my beliefs, and you can say things that you won't say to the media because they might twist it, you know. And but you can that is the thing. I really crave the deep conversations.
That's particularly why I like this platform, because it's kind of like a halfway house. We can have deep conversations here, but we can also bring in new voices and new people, and people who are just discovering BDSM and sex work. And as I say, from a personal perspective, I love connecting with women such as yourself, who have been absolutely amazing using your voice to advocate for people that don't have a voice. And I appreciate the things that you teach me on your Twitter, just by the things that you say, and the fact that I've learned today that I didn't realize that the situation wasn't as you know, as amazing as I thought it was in the Netherlands, as somebody who's been there many times and, you know, taken advantage of the things that you have to offer there. My heart is now breaking from the fact that it's not as rosy as I think it is. So when I go there the next time, I will definitely bear those things in mind. I'll definitely think about how I can bring my voice, or how I can bring, I don't know. This is the very beginning for me to learn something about it. So
Actually, you also mentioned the church at the red light
yeah,
district with the windows.
yeah.
Well, you have like a little building in between all the windows, and on front of the church.
The school.
It's called
no,
it's called PIC, PIC, and it's the Prostitution Information Center.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been in that.
But it is like right there, and I can recommend everybody who visits the red light district in Amsterdam to visit that, because they are amazing people. I know most of them who do their rounds there, and they're really cool tours. They do tours as well, but like the real tours, like not the touristy kind of weird stuff. It's like, okay, let's get real here for a second. No.
I'm so glad you said that. That will definitely make people listening to this think about Amsterdam in a different way when they go there. Go there and learn about the workers. Don't just see them as sexy women in a window who offer people sex. Like, they're human beings like you are. They're human beings like we are. Go and find out about their rights. There's actually, on a related note but separate note, but the Museum of Torture is actually my favorite places to go. I love the Museum of Torture.
Yes.
You can learn about BDSM just actually by going to the Museum of Torture. And obviously this is actually how people used to be tortured legitimately. And you'll see how history has actually played its way now into BDSM. So when you go to Amsterdam, really take in the sex culture, really take in how people feel about sex, how they express themselves, and learn about the laws, how people are protected. Speak to people when you go there. Go on that amazing tour that Moira has recommended. Please do that when you go there. That would be amazing. Amsterdam, as we know, is one of the sex capitals in the world. When it comes to the sex shows there, I've seen sex shows myself there. I think they're absolutely wonderful. I could literally watch them be looped and played over and over again to see things that I missed maybe the first time around. Do they have particular rights, or is it the same sort of licensing that they have, or how does it work in terms of the performance?
Yeah, it's a bit of the same. Like sex work here is as soon as you are a sex worker, they made it just one big pile of people who have not all the rights, but.
So it's like a blanket thing then, no matter what kind of sex worker you are, you have to have a license, you have to work in an establishment, and that's it.
Yeah, it kind of like the striptease thing might be debatable, because in some cases you can have topless service without the sex license if nobody is being touched and if the panty stays on. Yeah, so no pussy, but only tits. Like, but that is also up to the municipality again, because also the laws that municipalities make about those things are really free to interpret by anyone who reads them. So, yeah.
So if you go to Amsterdam, then you go to another one, the laws will be different from different.
Yes. Some municipalities have the 21 rule, that you need to be 21 to do sex work. Others have 18. Most of them went to 21 now. So a lot of people who are young and still need to pay their rent will just work unlicensed and are not surrounded by all these like me who can tell them how stuff works, you know. Yeah. Like that's the thing, you know, like I kind of agree that when I was 18, I was an airhead compared to what I'm now.
Yeah.
Like I was so naive when I was 18.
So in an ideal world, what would you say is the perfect scenario for a sex worker dominatrix in Amsterdam?
Yeah, it would all be. I would go for the 18. and I would go for being able to work independently,
Mhm.
and be decriminalized, so you can work from home, but you can also work from a place that you rent,
Mhm.
and the places to rent aren't that expensive anymore because you can just as easily work from home. Um, it
Mhm.
would all be nice, you know,
Mhm.
and also make really cool stuff with other sex workers, like
So
make.
what about then if you sort of parallel sex work with a regular job? So obviously you and a regular life, let's say a normal life. So obviously up until the age of 16 in this country anyway, you're in education, and then from 16 to 21 is optional education. Obviously you can have your sixth form or college, and then you can go to university. So how ideally would an 18-year-old with no sex work experience be able to find themselves in work and be safe and protected if they were self-employed?
Well,
What?
we have the education. You need to have education till 18.
Mhm, mhm,
So that's different already.
mm,
But yeah, if you are 18, and you go to work, like in any profession, you don't have experience with it, and yet, so you need people who have the experience around you to tell you how it works
mhm,
and to keep you safe. Like same in the supermarket or as a hairdresser, you know, you always have that older lady who goes like, okay, I'm gonna tell you what to do.
yeah.
This is how shit works around here. Oh, and that guy, watch out for him. Like that is how it works, you know, and that is amazing. That you need that in every job and also in sex work.
Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate you
Thank you
speaking to
too.
me. As I say, I've learned a lot, and I really do hope that we can collect again about some other subjects in future. So
I
thank you
would
so
really
much.
love that.
All right. Thank you so much, and I'll speak to you very
Thank
soon.
you.
Thank you. Take care. Thank you.